So this is this fell pony, come in very overweight and quite spoilt, tip bits, that type of thing. Definitely hasn't helped it. Stand still, walk. Getting a lot better at standing now when you asked it to. Was quite bullshit to say the least. Walk, but it's you know, still only got a rubber bit in and it's coming on all right. What we're going to do today is get it used to noise behind it. It's not bad with that, but these are sort of the finishing, you know, last couple of weeks of training and just the, you know, basically getting it in the shelves and driving it and walk, trot, canter, rein back. We've done that, so now we've got the basics. We can put the topping on it, if you like, such as dragging, the water, the arena, heavy traffic, that type of thing, you know. So it's going well. What I've got is my old faithful bit of, if I reach down here I'll just show you. Old faithful alley sheet. I've had this for quite a while. It started off oblong but it's worn away over the time. So we're just going to put that down there now. So that's a marked improvement. You know, we've been doing this for 2 to 3 days now, 4 days now, and that's coming on really nice. So the pony's not really taking any notice of it, just listening. And now we're going to let it trot. Trot, babe. Trot. Trot. Come on. Trot, there's a good boy. It's quite deafening, you can't hear yourself speak, you know, with the... They've got to, you know, pay attention to me when I asked him, so he said, steady, just walk, he's a good boy. So we're just coming up an incline now, and that's all right. Now what we're going to do is trot down and then ask him to steady up, you know. Asked him to steady up then. The problem we've had, see, is where he was so overweight, you could, you know, getting him fit, it's been really hard work. Now, although he's still got a great big crest, he is fit. He will do a good few miles at the trot. He's up to about 12 miles now. So we go out, we do 6 at varying paces and 6 home at various paces, and maybe have a 20-minute break where he just stands down in the town amongst the traffic. So he's going real nice, yeah. Just holding this back on his own. I'll take my foot off the brake there, you can see that I'll take my foot off the brake and you see there, I've no foot on the brake and the horse is just going sweet, lovely. Big powerful horse, you know, or pony. For a fell pony, he's on the big side, but also he's very, very powerful. You know, a lot of horses that are just, you know, just overweight, but this horse has definitely learnt to use its weight, and he's okay, trot, babe. So we're going up to the trot again. Come on, hey, canter. We want to stop. Whoa. And he stopped perfectly still. Whoa, baby, stand still, please, good boy. Stop nice and quiet. That's lovely. Terrible nosy, this pony is. Stand still when you're told. Wants to know exactly what's happening. Stand still. Wants to know. Stand still. Stand. Stand. Stand still. Stand still. Stand still. Stand still. So he hasn't stood when I asked him to. Let's bring me metal sheet up. Stand still. Walk. Walk. And that's lovely. So we've dragged the metal. You see, the other time when we first started off, there was another clip there where he puts a buck in. But he's got no real, harm in him as such. It's just you got to know how to handle him. He's been spoilt. I'm sorry to say that, and I don't want to upset anybody by saying that, but he has been spoilt. Titbits all the time. Certainly grossly overweight, which is not good for their health. It's all right saying it's choking. It's not choke condition. It's overweight. Way overweight. A great crest on his neck. He's not a stallion horse. And you've got to understand, if you are someone who's carrying a lot of weight to go to work, to do physical exercise like this, it's you have to take your time, because otherwise you're going to end up with lots of, like, he could go off his food altogether. It could be stressy for him, so by that I mean go off his food due to the stress of asking to work. So you've got to work him and understand that's something that just comes with time and experience, really, to know how much you can do with him. I mean, he's lost, I think, 80 odd kilos now, 87 I think, something like that, kilos he's lost. But obviously he's actually lost more than that, because what he's replaced the fat with is muscle, and muscle weighs heavier than fat. So obviously, density of the muscle is heavier than fat. So how much he has lost exactly, I don't know, but I guess 100 kilo. But he's still massive, he's still big, you see his great crest on his neck there, and he's very strong. So you see him pull the sheet of metal, you see, first of all he'd have a little resist, and then he settled down to it and no problem. So, and why do we pull the sheet of metal? I keep repeating myself when I say this, but when I was out many years ago, and I was driving a pair of horses actually, and right by the side of me a man lost his exhaust. It come off the car. He was weren't speeding or anything, doing about 25-30 mile an hour in a town. It come off right by the side of the horses. Well, obviously it startled them, and what I've found over the years, that was many years ago, and they wanted to take off, these horses got really upset, and what I've found out is that over the years, that as long as you introduce it to them and they get to understand it and know what it is, that type of noise, so you're very hard to put it into categories, but that type of noise, that grinding, scraping, dragging noise that you would get from an exhaust, mud flap coming off a car, maybe happened to me just not long ago. Literally within the last 6 months, someone had obviously driven over a piece of polythene, a big piece of polythene, quite big, and it was under the car, caught up under the car, and when it come past, it made a tremendous noise. The people inside wouldn't necessarily hear the sound, but outside, obviously, everything's much louder. We haven't got a box around us, have we? We're out in the element, so we hear it the same as the horse. So yeah, and also it was flapping as he went past. But because we've done dragging, etc. with them, and the type of training we do, desensitising, whatever you want to call it, they cope with, perfectly well, perfectly well. I can't remember what horse it was now, but it was either a pair or a single. It might have been a team, I don't know. but I can't remember. It was not only in the last 6 months anyway, 5 months maybe. So this all's now going along nice. All he's going to be used for is pleasure, driving, family picnics, outings, going down the pub, that type of thing. Although he's perfectly capable of doing everything now, you know, he's up there together. Up, babe, go on. What? What? Hey. My biggest fear. Come on, walk up. Hey, walk up. My biggest fear with this pony is he'd lay down. He never liked the water at all, but now he loves it, and it always looks to me like he's just about to buckle his knees up and have a roll. Come on, baby, come round. You good boy. Come on, have we go. Go on in there, that's it, come on. Go up, that's a boy. Whoa, stand still. Stand still there, it's a good lad. So you see, like he'll play with the water, put his head right under, can you see? Quite funny he is. So that's lovely. Yeah, he's not too keen to lay down today, but he was the other day. It's a bit colder today, I suppose. See him now, look, rolling his lip, makes you laugh, you know. Funny. But big, powerful, you know, powerful horse. Even though he's only the size he is a strong horse. I don't mean strong to, well, he was strong to you know, in his mouth, but he's not strong there necessarily now. He's only in a soft rubber bit, as you can see. But he's learnt to use his body weight, which is unusual for a horse that's never, yeah, look, rolling his lip, make you laugh. He does. Have a look back at me, look, what are you doing? He says, come in, the water's lovely. I don't think I want to. But, yeah, getting back to what I was saying, big horses like this, overweight horses, just have to keep an eye on, watch what he's doing, and, yeah, that's it. Yeah, stand still, baby, good boy. Big, strong, strapping horses like this often find it hard just carrying the weight. What he's learnt to do is to use the weight to his advantage, because horse has never pulled a cart in its life. No horse has ever pulled a cart along. What a horse does is push the collar, which in turn pulls the cart. Now, I'll say what you say to me, well, you're splitting hairs. I'm not at all. That's, you know, the way a horse can use his body weight. If you imagine a man's got a big barrel load of concrete, yeah? He don't pick it up and push it along with his hands stuck out in front of him, does he? Holding the handles. He lifts it up, he moves forward with his body weight, his hands go behind him, past his hips, yeah, right back, and then as he applies his weight against the barrow, the weight of the barrow, then it'll move forward. As it moves forward, so it rolls easier. And it's exactly the same for horse. So when he pushes on that collar, first of all, just to get it moving, once it's moving, it's lovely. That's why I say, you know, getting off the subject a bit, but that's why I say when you buy a carriage and they come out with this, you know, well, this is 100 and something kilo, this is 200 and something kilo, this is for this is for that. What we have to take into account is where you live. You could live in Wales, up and down steep hills. You could be in Lincolnshire on the flat. All depends how many, you know, how fit your horse is. Right, and on top of that, it all depends how many people you're going to put on it and what size the people are that get on it. So it could be a four-seater, but you could have 4 fat people on it, couldn't you? Or 6 fat people on it. Or you could have 6 skinny people. So it is a guideline, but it's a rough one. And those other things weren't taken into account. Now this horse here would pull along, move, by pushing the collar a tremendous amount of weight, because his body weight is heavy. He's big, he's bulky. Walk up, babe. Come on. So, you know, he's going along here now, for instance, pulling this across this gravel bottom. There's 2 of us on the carriage, and there he is, got his head down playing with the water. You know, so it's no effort to him to do it. Getting him to concentrate on what he's doing might be hard. Come on, up you go, rascal, come on. Oh, you see here's a prime example. If I put this back brake on, look, pull up, babe. You can hear the... See him walking away, look, no trouble at all, right? Well, just stop him, mate. If I just put my camera behind and just have a look at the track. Well, we just dragged it. So he's not only dragged it out of the river, he's dragging it uphill. Obviously the river's in the valley, in the lowest part, we're coming up, yeah? And he's dragged it no trouble at all, with a four-wheel carriage, two of us on it. This is for a pair of, well, for a single up to about a 14.2, I suppose you get away with, just about. To a pair of, down to a pair of 12 hands, you know? So that's the sort of size of it, or a single one of 14 hands, or you know, a pair down as low as 12, I suppose, according to their build. Walk up, come on, good boy. So there you go. So good boy. So it's been hard for him. This time here has not been an easy time for him. As I say, you know, not wishing to criticise anybody at all, but he was definitely spoilt, tidbits, and, you know, done more or less what he liked, and lacked discipline. And although discipline's an ugly word in this day and age, we've all got to have it. You discipline yourself to get out of bed in the morning, go to work, you know, clean your teeth, whatever. That's all discipline. Well, in horses, you know, you bring horse in and you train it and everything. None of that makes any sense to him, does it? So it don't make any sense to this horse. It don't make any sense to any horse, because all they want to do is, you know, well, what they want to do in an ideal world is walk as far as they like in whatever direction they like, with only natural barriers to stop them, and to eat, to sleep when they want to play when they want to interact with a herd in the way that they want to, but that's it. What we're asking them to do is totally foreign. People say to me, well, they've been doing it for centuries. Yes, they have. But if that was the case, you'd be able to, you know, get a 3-year-old in, put the harness on, you know, and off you go up the road, and it'll be fine, because they've been used to it over centuries, thousands of years. Well, it ain't happened, does it? You've still got to train them. Don't just jump on them and think, oh, well, that's fine. So, come over, darling. There's your good baby boy. So we've done the dragging, and tomorrow, if it's a nice day like today, we've done the dragging in the river today, and that just leaves us the heavy traffic and the arena. So we'll do them tomorrow. Good boy. But he's working away really nice, you know, and he doesn't find this work, you know, to pony this size in this carriage, and now he's fit. Everything's in his favour. He don't find it hard work, and I think I'm pretty sure actually, if I know horses at all, he's started to enjoy it. Yeah. Now he's accepted what I've asked him to do. He's started to enjoy it, you know. He's going, okay, yeah, this ain't too bad. I know, we go down this road, don't we? Then we turn left up there. Oh no, we're going to turn right today, you know, that sort of thing. So he's got a bit of interest, and he's getting happier with it. He certainly weren't when we started. He fought me every inch of the way. When I say fought me, he didn't stand up on his hind legs and box me, but what he did do would be argue. So you want him to turn left, ain't turning left. You want him to turn right, I want him to back up. Whatever you want him to do, you weren't going to do. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. And you can do what you like, and I'm not doing it. So you've got to use your brain and your head to cajole them to do what you're asking them to do. Hello, mate. You know, what you're asking them to do. And asking them is the right word. You don't want to tell them, do you? You don't want to be, you know, bullying them, shouting and all of that. I mean, some horses you've got to be very firm with. Yes, you have, because otherwise they'd walk all over you. But if you have discipline with a yearling, you know, if you're going to start handling them at a yearling, 6 months old even, you're going to start handling them, you need discipline, and you need to do some basic things, and your horse will be set for life. Exactly the same way as a child. If you bring a child up in the right way as an infant, yeah, and they understand the boundaries, then they live a happy life within them boundaries. But if you try and take horse, you know, this horse's age, and then start saying to it, right, now you've got to do this, you've got to do that, we want you to do this, we want you to do that, you've got to stand here, well, none of it makes any sense to them. So that's one thing, and they don't want to do it anyway. Of course they don't want to do it. No horse, you never walk up to a horse in a field and say to them, look mate, would you like to pull this cart and I'll give you a bucket of carrots. They'd look at you, you know, if they could understand, they'd think you're crazy. Why would they want to do it? Because they cannot see any advantage to their life to do that. So it's all what we want. So if it's all what we want, we should get it right and train them properly and train them with the respect they deserve. Yeah, and also take into account they don't have. I've said this 1,000 times. People say they're highly intelligent. Well, they certainly don't have the same intelligence as us. I don't know what intelligence they do have as such, but that's another subject another day. There's some things they have that are certainly unfathomable to me, and that is their senses. They can sense something. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the thing that I've experienced most in my life around horses is handicapped children especially, and people in general. So we come along the road recently, and just coming out of one of the pubs around these villages we go around, there was a young lady who was severely handicapped in an electric wheelchair with her mum and dad, and she's a young lady, I don't know what age she'd be, but in her late teens, early 20s, and she had no control over her dear little arms and hands. And I had a horse on the near side who was spiteful. He was spiteful. He would bite you when you're doing the girth up. He was getting better, but he had that streak of almost nastiness in him. Now, he wasn't born that way. That's what someone put in him in some way or the other, mistreatment or whatever. But the girl, before I could even say anything, come right up in the electric wheelchair. They brought her right up, and she was literally banging the side of his face. And you know, that horse never retaliated at all. It was as gentle as a horse could possibly be. Stallion horse it was. And he was as gentle as a horse could possibly be. Oh, my baby boy, stand still. I never like doing this here because this road's slippery that we're standing on, so I'll turn him this way. Come on. Let him a couple of paces that way, then straighten him up again. Because if you go dead straight, he could slip and go down on his knees. You know, it's possible anyway, so it's just best to take the precaution of coming across there like that. So, he's a good boy. Yeah, so as I say, we was outside there, and that has happened, that type of thing, and you get somebody in a wheelchair that really is not perhaps aware, certainly not aware of horses, you know, mentally handicapped and physically handicapped, and the horse that would be bargy and pushy and like that, you find it would be such gentle, I mean seriously gentle. I was at an handicap school some time ago with a horse, you know, I didn't go there with these horses, but it was nearby, and they was coming out of the school, getting on their coach, and one little boy sort of got away from the people looking after him, and he come running up and he grabbed the horse's nostrils, Now, there's nothing much I could do. I mean, obviously, I had a groom with me, they jumped down immediately, but by then, and he actually took some skin off the horse's nostril, but the horse never retaliated at all. It just tolerated it. You know, quite incredible. And that I would love to understand more, how they understand that this person is in some way infirmed, you know, some way things are not quite as they should be. And they're so gentle, you know, and horses that are not necessarily gentle by nature due to the way they've been treated, possibly, and yet they can be so gentle. And more so again with children. They'd be like you can't, it's silly to say you could trust any animal. You've got to be there and be in charge of it and take responsibility for it. But at the same time as saying that, you would think, yeah, you know, that's, go on, bud, up you go, you're nice boy. It's quite heartwarming to see, but it's something I'd like to understand. And they have this 6th sense, 7th, 8th, 10th sense, I don't know, but they've definitely got some other things that we don't understand. Come over, bud. But they don't, that's it. Sorry if I, you know, I lose my thread sometimes of what I'm saying, because I've got to watch this horse, his every move, his ears, his tail, everything he's doing, so I'm learning all the time how he's accepting things, because this is coming to the latter part of his training now, and it's got to be now that he has these, you know, he's ready to do these things, and he's doing it beautifully, but I've got to concentrate on that, so I lose my thread a bit sometimes. So as I say, nice lad. I hope when he goes home that they take my advice, because that's all I can do is give it. And he wants regular food going through him, you know, like anyone on a diet. Something, you know, you can eat the right things, can't you? You know, and in the right amounts. So he requires that, and for the pony's health, it's got to be done. Definitely got to be done. I mean, when you see this pony now, he looks nice from this position. You say, well, there's nothing wrong with him. Well, not now, but if you look up the front end of him and see his neck, he had trouble, seriously, turning to look at me. He had trouble. In fact, I don't think he could have done it. I don't think he could have brought his head right round the side and looked at me. In fact, I'm pretty sure he couldn't. So there's a nice old thing coming down here. Come on, get up. I just want to take no notice of it at all. Yeah, that's it. Here's a good boy. Lovely. That's it. The other thing with these, when this goes home, fortunately, the lady that, oh baby boy, oh darling, stand still. The lady that looks after him, come back, bud. See him come back nicely. Walk on, walk up, bud. The lady, he's shared between mum and daughter, I think, this one. But mum, who looks after him, has got time during the day to drive him and someone to go out with her, so they need to keep up, you know, his exercise, which will help him lose the weight, obviously, and keep his weight down to a reasonable level, because they thought a while ago, I was speaking to the daughter who come down to see him and had a drive. She drove him really well, I mean, exceptionally well for someone that doesn't really drive at all. She had a couple of goes, but she drove with confidence, and the pony was happy with her. By the time, you know, we got back home, the pony was very happy. Come over, babe. That's a good boy. That's a good boy, a little dog there. I can't see the little dog. Well, it's a real tiny little dog behind that picket fence there. Come on. He's a good boy. Yeah, she drove him really well, the daughter. I mean, you know, I was quite pleasantly surprised because she got no experience. But she drove him and she was on the ball with him. So when I said to her, make sure he only does what you asked him to do. So he was trotting along on the flat and he decided to walk, and she went, hey, come on, get up, trot, and got him back to where he was. And she was very much on the ball there, which was great, you know, really good to see. And drove with confidence, because it does, she's a rider actually, it does dressage, and it's very, very hard, I think, and in my experience, the people that have ridden to come back and drive, because, you know, your thighs, your calf, your buttocks, everything that's been connected with the horse, your hand up its neck, the feel of the horse under you, whether it's going to put a buck in or he's uptight or whatever, you've got none of that at all, and you're remote from it. All you've got is a pair of reins and your voice. So I think that's really hard, I mean seriously hard, but she just fell into it without any trouble whatsoever. She's done just really lovely, you know. Go on my baby, up we go. So you see him going along, if I drop the reins down there like that, you know, he don't pick up speed, he just goes the same. Come on, just keep on going like that, it's lovely. On each side of the road, he don't wander about, everything, you know, just fine. Good boy. Yeah, he's a nice little chap. We're back now, and what he's got to learn to do is, so obviously, come back, obviously he's stand still, obviously he wants to get in now, so I'll go and have me little bit of lunch now and I'll have a bit of haylage. So I want him to stand at the gate, not push his chest against it, and just stand here. Then what I'm going to do is open the gate, and he's still got to stand there. Now that is hard for him to do, you know, because stand still, and I'll keep him here until he stands quiet. This is discipline, nothing to do with corporal punishment, smacking them, hitting them, kicking them, anything like that at all. Walk, walk.